Hey everyone, David C. Anderson here, coming at you from the Knife Center, and welcome to Knife AQ episode 142, the knife series where I answer all your questions, sharp or dull. This week, amongst our questions, let's say that you're looking for an American-made folding survival knife, and you've only got $100 to spend. Where should you spend it? We're going to tackle that and some other questions right after this. All right, everyone, if you're new to this series, the deal is we pick out questions from our comment section below these videos and I attempt to give my best answers to them, and Thomas over there throws shade and gives snarky comments to the things I'm saying.
No guarantees.
So if you've got a question and you think it might be worthy of inclusion in a future episode, leave it in the comments below, please. And most importantly, thank you. First question today comes from SGSI1S6. What is an American-made best survival knife folder under $100? I want to put this in both of my cars and my traveling backpack. I am a truck driver, so it has to meet all state rules and regulations: Missouri, Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, preferably a 3.5-inch blade. All right, so first and foremost, I cannot guarantee what...
We're not lawyers.
We're not lawyers. I can't guarantee what I'm going to show you will comply to all regulations where you're traveling, because I don't know, apart from state level regulations, there could be more local level things. And ultimately, as with any, kind of law advice that we are not giving here, it's up to you to know yourselves, do your research, know what your local rules are. But you did give me one criteria, preferably a 3.5-inch blade, American made, a price, and just to try and help out, I'm going to avoid a couple of things that can be pitfalls in certain areas. So no springs, no spring assist, no automatics. Not that you're going to find one of those American made under $100 anyway. Nothing that's double-edged, which to me a survival knife shouldn't be anyway. No pocket deployers like the Emerson Wave. That's going to be a potential pitfall some places. That's kind of what I'm going to at least eliminate from my consideration. Now, what do I think a survival folder should have? I'm going to hold up a knife here that doesn't meet your price parameters, but for me, the Benchmade Griptilian, going back, unfortunately, this was like a decade ago, used to be the easy 100% accurate answer for that under $100 American-made survival outdoor folding knife. And it has some of the things that I'm going to try and get for us. One, decent grip. It has to be something that can be used extensively without feeling like it's shrimpy or not enough there to do hard work. You got to have a sturdy lock and strong construction. You might have to abuse the knife in a quote-unquote survival scenario. So you want that at your disposal. Some sort of finger guard, and it can be more or less, but something to keep your fingers from sliding forward. And then a versatile enough blade that it could be pressed into self-defense scenarios if need be. And this knife had it all. Unfortunately, actually this one right here is no longer available, this KnifeCenter exclusive, but I only pulled it out because we were actually out of stock of the standard version today when we're filming. But those run about $144 nowadays for the standard full-sized version with a S30V blade and a blade length of just under 3.5 inches. And unfortunately, we have to look elsewhere. Like I said, 10 years on from that, 10 years of inflation plus a steel upgrade in the meantime has pushed it a little bit higher. What I did is I put all the filters in that we were looking for, and to me, the options that were left in the, things approaching that 3.5-inch length but not going over, meeting those criteria I mentioned there, and feeling appropriate for a outdoor folder, which is kind of where a survival folder to me lives, was pretty disappointing list remained. And I'll get to those, but I would say if you can save up a little bit more than the $100 budget, the Cedulo from Gerber is an option at about $125. It does a lot of the things that the Griptilian did right and kind of blends it between that and, a flat ground geometry, a little more reminiscent of something like the Bug Out. But the Sedulo is more kind of Griptilian in hand than it is Bug Out. 3.4-inch blade here, S30V, full flat grind. Versatile enough blade to do the things we talked about there. Not quite as much of a finger guard, but you got a little bit there. Feels sturdy while still feeling lightweight, thanks to the injection molding there. Nice, strong locking mechanism, speedy access, easy to get hold of when you need it. It's a really good knife. Doesn't quite come under $100 price point, however, and it is made in the USA. When I did those filters, kind of two things stood out the most to me, and I'll talk about those. And then I'm going to broaden things out to give you some other options too. The Kershaw Blur is, a fantastic American-made knife under that price point. Unfortunately, it has the spring assist, which for this sort of thing, if you're wanting to, stay away from that sort of thing to keep in compliance in places, I understand that. And also not quite as much of a finger guard as I would like to see. Apart from that, it does a pretty good job. 3.375-inch blade, 14C28N on these this particular one. Nice and tough, just under $100. And you got a lot of grip thanks to the rubberized inserts there and plenty of handle real estate to do heavy work with. Still an option, but I would caution you, maybe the spring assist is not quite the way you'd want to go. The Kershaw Link is another actually great option with better finger guard protection there, but it's about 3.25 inch, so didn't quite get to what you were looking for there. This is the only other one I feel kind of is appropriate for the task at hand, and that's the the Buck Pursuit folding knife series. And the gut hook version does come in under 3.5 inches. It's about $80 for a 420HC steel blade. Better steel, more edge retention would be nice, but to me, especially if you're near your car, you probably have something, or you can pack something to sharpen with, so it's not as high on the list of priorities. You've got a strong feeling grip, nice strong lock back as well. You've got finger guard protection. The blade, it has a fair bit of recurve, and you are going to have to take that into account when sharpening or doing survival knife stuff. Certainly is going to work. The gut hook, I was initially kind of turned off by this, but the more I've kind of sat with the idea and thought about it, a gut hook could have some pretty decent applications in a vehicular setting for, cutting through some hoses or doing some other on-the-fly repairs you might need to get through. There's something to that there. That is an option. And I think it's a halfway decent option, even if it might not, immediately have jumped out at me for the options we're talking about. So I'm going to broaden things out a little bit. You can, there's filters to do this on our website, whether you're on desktop or your phone, where you can really drill down. You can hit these price points, plug in your blade lengths, plug in the country of origin you want, that sort of thing. And you can see what's available there as well. And let me know if you think I missed something within this criteria that should have been included. So I said the gut hook version. There are non-gut hooked versions of this. Unfortunately, the blade length, if you're measuring from the tip to the leading edge of the handle, creeps just above that 3.5-inch length. So if that is a hard limit for you, this is not going to be an option. But if it's not, at $99.99, you can get this version with the drop point blade here with S35VN blade steel, which is quite nice. Or you could save $25 and get it in 420HC as well, and that's with the green handles as opposed to the orange. All the great stuff I talked about with the gut hook version there, except a little bit less recurve. That could be an advantage, and a more conventional blade shape for maybe more versatile usages. Nice little things, actually. And they come with, if you're storing it in a glove box, it might be nice to keep it in the pouch that they come with, and those pouches are set up for horizontal and vertical carry, which is quite nice. Another option, if I'm allowing the blade length to get a little bit bigger, the Gerber Gator could be a not half bad option too. 420HC steel clip point blade shape for about $50, about $10 more now. You can get $9 more. You can get a drop point with 154 cm. This has got a 3.75-inch blade though, so it might be more than you want to give to it. Made in the USA, plenty of handle grip, plenty of handle real estate, nice strong lock back. two-hand opener and closer, but you know, that's fine. Not a problem there. Also comes with a belt sheath for carrying that. If we were, I'm kind of blowing all of your things out of consideration now, and bringing it back to a little bit of my thought process where, like, to me, this was the best under $100 folding knife for outdoor use that existed, US or not US. And today, what would be my answer today? I would probably wind up picking the Cold Steel AD10 Light. For outdoor use, I would go with the drop point, not the Tanto, but I have the Tanto on the table for other reasons right here. Obviously, it's not US made. It does have a 3.5-inch blade, however, so it falls right in that length you're looking for, and it falls in a great length for enough to feel like you can do some big jobs, but very easily controllable. Very comfortable handles on these, injection molded, contoured. AUS-10 steel is going to perform quite well. It's just I think a really good option. Also ambidextrous as well, and that's part of why I always liked the sub $100 Griptilian back in the day, because I could easily recommend it to just about anyone for that sort of thing. So if you can stomach the non-American made, I think this is actually kind of a better option than any of the sub $100 options made in the US that I showed you right here. But your mileage and your opinions may vary. Love to hear what you think.
Literally, his mileage will vary.
Ha ha! Well, at least it's not too heavy that it's going to decrease his mileage, because it's the light.
Streamlined.
Exactly. All right. I hope that helps. I truly do. Next question comes from Mark Lee CQ Tour. Hey, David, I'm ex-military and overseas. I used a Gerber 06 Fast. Been beat up, used as a pry bar, food prep, etc. And she is totally worn out and looking to replace it. Anything you recommend? Always love the videos. Keep it up. Thanks. Thank you. I will. Here is the Gerber 06 Fast. Interestingly, until I actually remembered to look up the Fast version, I was thinking of the drop point versions of the Gerber 06, not these thinner bladed Tanto versions that the Fast is. But if you're unaware, the Fast is also an assisted opener, not a automatic knife. Mark Lee, of course, you know this, but for the audience out there, I'm sort of explaining here. The knife these days is about, where's the price on that? Like $82 for this. It is imported. It's not a US made Gerber, unlike the 06 autos. You've got a protruding pommel here at the back, protruding back spacer that gives you a striking point. Combo edged in this case, Tanto profile, hollow ground, not super thick. So the fact that you've used it up essentially over all these years is a testament to what they can do. One option I just showed is the AD10 Light. That could be something you could check out. It's a little bit chunkier, should last, should withstand your abuse even better than the Gerber right here. What it won't give you that the Gerber does is the same type of speed. You can open it just about as quickly, but it requires a little more care to do so, and it's a little more slow to close because you're probably going to want to use two hands for it. Whereas on the Gerber, you simply push the switch back up and you can then close it. Does have the protruding backspacer there at the back, although it is injection molded on these light versions. You can bump up to the S35VN versions. Those do still have a metal backspacer, I believe. For a bit more money though, I'm not sure, like $150 more or less for those. Oh, here's one for $145. So that's an option. If you want something with more of the speed that your Gerber could offer, check out perhaps the deadbolt version of the CRKT M16. Little bit longer, as you can see, a little bit more blade real estate, little bit chunkier, but it has that. It's got your assisted opening for that dependable action, easy flipping, nice feel in the hand, feels plenty strong. D2 steel here, so that's definitely, actually I didn't talk about that. pretty much anything you can buy nowadays is going to give you more edge retention than you got on the 7CR steel on this Gerber right here. Even like an SR1 Light from Cold Steel, those are like 40 bucks, but definitely way bigger and chunkier with an 8CR steel. But anyway, D2 steel on this one, so plenty of edge retention right there. Not stainless, so keep that in mind. It's only a semi-stainless steel. What I like about the biggest version of the M16, however, with the deadbolt is it's got enough mass on the blade that if you put some wrist into it, you hold the lock down, which is just, right there on the pivot. Hold the lock down, give it enough wrist action. You can actually swing this blade closed quickly. Almost got it there. It takes a little bit of practice, but it's doable. So you've got speed that the Cold Steel is not going to give you right there. Check that out as an option. About $130 for this. Like I said, when I mentioned earlier, I was thinking actually about the drop point auto version of this, and just in case you are too, or maybe our viewers are too, I wanted to share another thought I had, and that was the Benchmade Adamas, the full-size version. You can get it in an automatic as well, but I think this makes a really cool alternative to the 06 Auto with the drop point especially. But it still could be something that might appeal to you too. Maybe you want, in my mind, the slightly more versatile or slightly more general purpose anyway, drop point blade shape as opposed to the Tanto. If not, go forth with your Tanto and be blessed. But I think this is a really cool option too. A little bit bigger, ambidextrous. You've certainly got speed. This one needs to break in just a little bit. Sometimes these coated blades don't always go as easy right out of the box, but I got one of these broke in beautifully. Price on these is definitely more pricey, about 292 bucks. Crew wear blade steel here, not stainless, but it is coated to help prevent the corrosion there. Very, very tough. Excellent edge retention as well. This should be something you'd be able to abuse for many years to come as well. Hope that helps, and thank you for your service as well. All right, now we come to the lightning round for today. First question is from Waylon Wade 1203. Hey, DCA, what happened to all the knives in 440C? Powder metallurgy steels are everywhere, but you still see knives in 154CM, 1095, 420HC, and other classic blade steels, but I can't recall the last time I saw a knife in 440C. There are a few, and actually I'm kind of hoping we start to see it showing up more in budget knives. But I think the main reason why you don't see it as much is 154CM kind of supplanted it. It is a very similar steel. It's a tweaked 440C is how 154CM came to be. And of course it is seen as more premium, and it doesn't cost a whole lot more from the manufacturing side to use it. So it's more sellable for not a lot of extra investment for them. So it's easy to see why it kind of took over. There are a few cool options right now though. The Tellus FLK from SOG. This is an awesome knife. 50 bucks, beefy 3.65 inch 440C blade, great outdoor knife, beefy handle, very easy to get a solid grip on. Very nice action as well. I've talked about this on the channel a few times. Something like this as well, the Boker Cataclysm. This one right now is a KnifeCenter exclusive actually. It's got a 440C blade, brown G10. We've got black bladed versions and black framed versions as well. This is a frame lock with a deep carry clip. 35 bucks for this knife right here. A lot of value in my opinion. So yeah, first part of my answer is probably why you don't see it as much, but I'm hoping we see a little bit more of it in the near future. I don't know anything, it's just a hope. Next question comes from Woody Lorenz 4404. Hi DCA and all the folks at KnifeCenter. Thanks for the videos. I'm looking for an American style Tanto folder that I can use trimming snags on snowboard bases. The straight chisel-y portion at the front of the blade is critical. If possible, the knife should be lightweight, stainless, and inexpensive enough that I can lend it to my friends without worrying. Thanks. Sure, well we showed a few Tantos here, and the two of them here actually do have that straight chisel-like leading front edge. The CRKT here is starting to curve a little bit, but some do curve more significantly, certainly. But because you want lightweight and inexpensive, and that straight-edged, Cold Steel's the way to go, I think, with their Verdict. It's like $53, 4116 Tanto blade, just over 3 inches long. Lightweight. I actually don't have a weight here in front of me, but Injection molded handles here, it is pretty lightweight. The Mini Recon is actually a little less expensive and the materials are arguably better. You got G10 and AUS 10 blade steel, but it is broader in the pocket and not quite as lightweight. You could check that one out too, but if lightweight is more important, the verdict I think is gonna be pretty sweet for you. Check that out. And now we come to our final question of the day, which is of course our most serious question of the day, which comes from Cody Cone 7559. Since we are coming up on flu season, we all need to know, what knife should we use to fight infections? I think what you want is not just a knife, but a multi-tool with needle nose pliers. You like to...
That is not where I thought you were going with that.
Haha, I surprised even Thomas. Where'd you think I was going with that?
Well, I'm just disappointed is all.
Giving me no feedback. He just says he doesn't like it. That's fine. Whatever. That's all we've got for today, folks. Let me know what you thought of the answers. If you have some alternate suggestions, drop them in the comments below. If you have questions that you want in a future episode, like I said earlier, you can also leave those in the comments section. If you want to get your hands on any of these knives, check out the links in the description. Those will take you to KnifeCenter.com. We hope. I hope. And while you're there, don't forget about our long-running Knife Rewards program. When you buy one of these knives today, you can earn free money back on your next ones, sometimes up to 5% or even more. I'm David C. Anderson from the Knife Center. That's Thomas behind the camera. And as promised, or as he didn't promise, he didn't say a whole lot today, snarky-wise, just a little bit. And that's all we've got. See you next time.